Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So now in this, let me talk about single phase half wave controlled rectifier feeds power to RE load as well as RLE load circuits. When you come to the RE load, this load is nothing but battery load. Then what is the analysis of half wave controlled rectifier feeds power to battery circuit, battery load? Very important thing in the battery circuits, when the load has any battery, this is the common for RE load as well as RLE load. When you come to the battery, this is the RE load. This is the RLE load. The important thing is, what is the minimum control angle and maximum control angle? In case of R load, RL load with freewheeling diode, the minimum firing angle is alpha is 0, maximum firing angle is pi, 180 degrees. Whereas in case of battery load or RLE load is a motor load, the minimum firing angle is not 0, maximum is not pi, because at omega t is equals to 0, supply voltage is 0. When supply voltage is 0 here, V0 is basically what is the output voltage. V0 always follows the supply voltage. But here in this configuration, in this loading condition, V0 is equals to E when Vs is 0. That is why minimum angle is not 0, maximum angle is not pi. Right? So minimum angle is theta 1, maximum angle is theta 2. Theta 1 is the minimum firing angle, theta 2 is the maximum firing angle. Both would be calculated by using these two formulas. Theta 1 is sin inverse E by Vm, where E is the battery load voltage, Vm is the maximum of supply voltage. Theta 2 is pi minus theta 1. These two are very important in this analysis. And what is the range of control angle? Theta 1 less than or equal to alpha, less than or equal to theta 2. Alpha should be greater than or equal to theta 1, less than or equal to theta 2. And another important is peak inverse voltage rating of the device. Normally in R load, RL load, peak inverse voltage rating is maximum of supply voltage. But whereas in this case, load has a battery, that is why peak inverse voltage is Vm plus E. And when you come to the analysis, what is the battery charging current? Average charging current of the battery circuit or load circuit. Then I0 is equals to, this is the formula. How do we get this? What is I0 in this connection? When you come to this, I0 is equals to Vs minus E by R. That is Vm sin omega t minus E by R. So now this is the instantaneous current. Now use the formula, standard formula, to calculate average 1 by t integral 0 to t I of t dt. Then we get, this is the expression, where alpha is the control angle, right? It should be greater than or equal to theta 1. So data should be provided with the alpha. If there is no alpha, consider alpha is equals to theta 1. Simple, right? Theta 2 would be calculated by using this expression, right? And substitute the values and get the I0 value. That is the average charging current of the battery circuit. Now what is the output voltage V0? This is RE load, I0 into R plus voltage across the resistor drop and battery voltage, I0 into R plus E. Then what is the supply power factor? Normally standard thing is supply power factor is load power by supply power. Load power is what? Basically if load is R load or RL load, power is I0 RMS square into R only. But whereas in this case battery load E existed, so I0 RMS square into R plus E into I0 is a load power divided by supply power is Vs into Is. Then what is circuit turn-off time? Pi plus 2 theta 1 by omega. This is the analysis of the battery circuit. Now coming to the analysis of RLE load, that is nothing but motor load circuit. In motor load, definitely there must be inductive, right? Inductor is added in this case. When inductor is added, it extends the circuit operation, right? Means device operation. That is why main switch thyristor conduction period is beta minus alpha. As usual, as like RE load, peak inverse voltage is Vm plus E. And circuit turn-off time is 2 pi minus beta plus theta 1 by omega. Why it is beta? Because of inductance. And what is the voltage across the thyristor at the time of triggering when SCR goes to trigger? That is Vm sine alpha. A very important thing is what is the voltage across SCR at the time of triggering, right? At the time of turn on, Vm sine alpha. Vt, voltage across thyristor at the time of commutation, at the time of zero current, is Vm sine beta. And then how do we calculate V0? So we apply the KVL to this loop. So we have, instead of RE load, we have RL load, and apply the KVL to this loop. We get V0 expression, instantaneous voltage V0, and use the standard formula to calculate average value. Now I0 is, as usual, V0 minus E by R, right? Now input power factor same as like previous, I0 RMS square into R plus E into I0 by Vs into Is. Suppose this is the only case in this RLE load. So assume that I0 is load current is equals to capital I0, means constant and ripple free current. This cannot be happened in the RE load, right? So I0, when we get I0 is constant and ripple free when load inductance is large. We know that according to property of inductor does not allow sudden change of current through it, right? If inductor is large, it reduces the ripples in the load current. So if load inductance is large, consider, this only assumption is ideal case I am taking, I0 is constant and ripple free, then definitely the load current is what? Now load current is constant, right? Is equals to capital I0. So for constant pure DC signal, RMS value is equals to average value, right? That is why instead of RMS current, I am taking average directly. This average is average. Vs into, why it is I0? Supply current is, in this half wave rectifier connection, source RMS is same as the load RMS. Source RMS is same as the load RMS. Now what is the load RMS? I0 RMS. What is I0 RMS is equals to I0, right? Now substitute these values, and now if you take the I0 is the common the numerator, I0 and I0 will be cancelled. The we get final expression is input power factor is I0 into R plus E by Vs. So with this formula we calculate supply power factor of this converter, half wave rectifier converter feeds power to motoring load circuits. So this is the analysis of single phase half wave rectifiers controlled circuits with different loading conditions, R load, RL with freewheeling diode, and RE load called motor battery load as well as motor load circuits. These are important for the examinations. So now let me see the single phase full converter analysis for highly inductive load. So I am taking only highly inductive load. Examination point of view, this load is this condition is very important. Now coming to the highly inductive load, highly inductive means L should be very large, inductive load should be very large. So now if full converter feeds power to highly inductive load, then what is analysis of the circuit? These are the parameters at the load side we need to derive. Average output voltage is 2 Vm by pi cos alpha, is very important formula. And average RMS output voltage is Vm by root 2. And now if you know average value and RMS value, we just calculate what is the ripple factor of the output waveform. So how do we calculate ripple factor? Voltage ripple factor is equal to square root of RMS by average square minus 1. Basically ratio of RMS value to average value is what? Form factor. So form factor square minus 1. Ripple factor is square root of form factor square minus 1. By substituting the RMS value and average value, we get this expression: voltage ripple factor is square root of pi square by 8 cos square alpha minus 1. If you know the firing angle or control angle, substitute in this, we get the voltage ripple factor. The voltage ripple factor not at all fixed, it would be varied with respect to firing angle or control angle alpha. Now when you just observe the variation of output voltage, average output voltage with respect to the control angle. If firing angle alpha is 0, then output voltage is the maximum with positive value plus 2 Vm by pi. It would be 0 at 90 and it would be again maximum with negative at 180 degrees. When you observe this variation, the load current is always constant. Like if you assume that highly inductive load means obviously I naught is equals to capital I naught. It's only the assumption. This is ideal case for the sake of easy analysis, mathematical analysis. So I naught constant means only one direction. There is no change in the direction of the current. But when you observe the voltage variation, voltage varies positive and negative. Output voltage sometimes positive, sometimes negative. Below 90 degrees, if firing angle less than 90 degrees, average output voltage is positive. So output voltage positive, always output current positive, then power of the converter, power of the load is a positive. When power is positive, according to passive sign convention, element or that particular load absorbs the power from the supply. That is why the converter acts as full converter acts as rectifier when alpha less than 90. When alpha greater than 90, load voltage, average load voltage would be negative. This is a minus V naught into plus I naught. So power is negative. We know that if power of an element is negative, it delivers power. Delivers means power now flows from DC load to AC source. When alpha less than 90, power flows from AC source to DC load. AC to DC means called rectification, right? That is why it acts as a rectifier. When alpha greater than 90, power flows from DC load to AC source. Now power flowing from DC to AC, that is called inversion mode of operation, so that full converter acts as inverter. So full converter acts as rectifier as well as inverter based on the control angle. If firing angle less than 90, rectifier, firing angle greater than 90, inverter. Fine. So because of this, we know that, what does it mean? Power is bidirectional, right? Power flows from AC source to DC load and DC load to AC source. So that is why it allows a bidirectional power flow, also called as bidirectional converter. Fine. Now coming to the quadrant operation, it gives two quadrant operation at a time based on the firing angle. Two quadrant means if you take this is I naught, V naught and I naught. In first quadrant, when alpha less than 90, it gives a first quadrant operation. Both the quantities are positive. This is a rectification operation. When alpha greater than 90, output voltage is negative but still current is positive. It gives operation in the fourth quadrant is a inversion operation, right? So it gives a two quadrant operation at a time by varying the firing angle, so that it is called two quadrant converter. So when you come to this quadrant operation, first quadrant is a forward motoring, second quadrant is a forward braking, third quadrant is a reverse motoring, fourth quadrant is a reverse braking. So it gives operation in first and fourth quadrant. Single phase full converter gives operation in first quadrant and fourth quadrant, so that it is suitable for both motoring as well as braking applications, regenerative braking applications. Now this is the analysis of the full converter, the load side. Now coming to the source side. So we know that main disadvantage of power electronic converter, it supplies harmonics in both load as well as source system, right? So when you come to the source side analysis of the full converter, we are applying the source voltage is a sinusoidal, right? But source current is not sinusoidal. Actually we should get source current also sinusoidal, but we are getting square wave instead of sinusoidal. This is the source current waveform. So why we instead of this is a sinusoidal, right? We should get this is a sinusoidal signal, but we are not getting the sinusoidal, we are getting square wave due to the harmonics in the source current, right? So this is called fundamental component, this is called harmonic component. Due to the all odd harmonic component, the source current contains all odd harmonics 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, so on. Because of all these odd harmonics, the output source current waveform gets distorted and it gives a square wave instead of sinusoidal. Now, what is the fundamental source RMS current from this? So, IS1 RMS is 2 root 2 by pi into I naught, that is 0.9 into I naught. So, what is the source RMS current? Actual source is what? Square wave, right? So, now this always the source current is equals to load current when source delivers power from source to load. So, this is a plus I naught, this is a minus I naught. So, now source RMS current is equals to I naught. And now coming to the DPF means displacement power factor or fundamental power factor or input displacement factor. So how do we calculate fundamental power factor? It is nothing but the phase displacement power factor is what? Is a cosine angle between voltage and current quantities, right? But here you should consider both the quantities are fundamental quantities. Voltage signal should be fundamental, current signal should be fundamental. So cosine angle between fundamental voltage and fundamental current is nothing but fundamental power factor, that is cos alpha. Now what is coming to the 12th point, that is a distortion factor. So as I said already, due to these all odd harmonics, the source current waveform gets distorted. It gives a square wave instead of sinusoidal. Then what is the distortion factor? Distortion factor can be calculated using this ratio of fundamental source RMS to actual source RMS, that is 0.9. Now 13th one is a very important thing, is input power factor. What is input power factor? We know that supply power factor. So because supply is AC, it supplies AC power at particular power factor, right? So how do we calculate supply power factor? It is a product of distortion factor into fundamental power factor. Actually the power factor should be this, supply power factor, but this is fundamental case. If you get pure sinusoidal of the source current, then this is the value. But we are not getting pure sinusoidal, right? We are getting square wave instead of sinusoidal. That is why there must be distortion in the waveform due to the harmonics, so that input power factor also gets reduced. So input power factor is distortion factor into displacement power factor or fundamental power factor, that is 0.9 into cos alpha. You have to remember this, very important in the competitive examinations, because no need to do entire things. If you know firing angle, just calculate power factor of supply power factor of the full converter. Now coming to the THD. So what is the THD? Total harmonic distortion. So in DC case, load side, we are calculating ripple factor, right? So when you come to this, we are calculating voltage ripple factor. This is the output voltage waveform ripple factor. The quality of the DC signal can be calculated by finding its ripple factor. Quality of AC signal can be measured by finding its total harmonic distortion. So what is the total harmonic distortion? This is square root of 1 by distortion factor square minus 1. Substitute distortion factor here, so we get this is. So by substituting the distortion factor 0.9 in this, we get percentage THD of the source current waveform is 48.34%. It is fixed because the source current nature is square wave. For square wave, THD is 48.34%. Fine. Now when you come to the switching currents, means switches, current, average current of the switch and RMS current of the switch. Switch means here what? ACR, right? So IT average is I naught by 2, IT RMS is I naught by root 2. So how do you get I naught by 2, I naught by root 2? The conduction angle of the switch is here, we are conducting continuous conduction mode because the load is highly inductive load. So that conducting period of each switch is pi radians. So IT average is I naught by 2. IT RMS is I naught by root 2. Now coming to the power calculation, what is the active power delivered to the converter? What is the reactive power of the converter? So active power is Vs, basically what is active power? Vi cos phi, right? So Vi are both are RMS quantities. Here Vs, Is cos alpha. I am taking only Is1, not Is. Why Is1? Is1 indicates fundamental quantity, right? So always whatever the power you are supplying to the converter, right, the converter converts or utilizes only the fundamental power, not harmonic power. That is why we are supplying fundamental voltage, but current Is is not only fundamental quantity, it has both fundamental as well as harmonic components. So, but you should consider only the fundamental, right? Cos alpha is what? What is the phase angle between fundamental voltage and fundamental current? Is alpha. So there is a Vs Is1 cos alpha, also same as V0 into I0. The Q is reactive power, that is Vs Is1 sin alpha, that is V0 I0 into tan alpha. This is the complete analysis of single phase full converter. Very, very important in the examination, right? Now coming to the another converter called a semi converter. Again, assume that load is highly inductive load. Coming to the analysis of the load circuit, output voltage V0 is Vm by pi 1 plus cos alpha. Here in this case, a switch will be, output voltage would be existed only from alpha to pi period, not alpha to pi plus alpha as like full converter, right? So in case of full converter, V0 will be existed from alpha to pi plus alpha, so that we get to Vm by pi cos alpha. Whereas in this case, output voltage waveform exists between alpha to pi period only, so that we get Vm by pi 1 plus cos alpha. Again, the conduction is continuous, but output voltage is discontinuous conduction. Current is continuous. Now coming to the RMS output voltage, this is the expression. Then a ripple factor would be calculated by using these two values. Again, square root of form factor square minus 1. Now coming to the variation of output voltage with respect to firing angle is a very important thing is, at 0 firing angle, V0 is plus 2 Vm by pi, positive peak. At 90 is a half Vm by pi, Vm by pi. At 180 degrees, output voltage is 0. So if firing angle varies between 0 to 180, the average output voltage always positive. There is no negative value, right? So output voltage is positive always. And we know that load current is equals to I0 continuous and constant, which has only positive value. So positive voltage and positive current, product of these two gives the positive power. If load power is positive, means that load always absorbs the power from the supply. So power always flows from AC source to DC load. So it acts as a rectifier. So semi converter always operates as a rectifier circuit, whereas full converter operates two converters. If alpha less than 90 rectifier, alpha greater than 90 inverter. Whereas semi converter gives only one mode of operation called rectification mode, so that it always acts as rectifier if firing angle varies between 0 and 180 degrees. This is a load side analysis. Now because of this, only one mode of operation, rectification mode, power always flows from AC source to DC source, right? So that is why it allows only unidirectional power flow. Now because of this, it gives only one quadrant operation, V0, I0. Always at any firing angle, it gives positive voltage and positive current. The power always positive, it gives only first quadrant operation. That is why it is called single quadrant converter. Single quadrant means it gives only one quadrant operation at a time, that is exclusively in the first quadrant, whereas full converter gives first and fourth quadrant. So because of this, it is suitable only for motoring applications. When you go to the, suppose your requirement is only motoring requirement. If you want to run your application in only motoring mode, your required converter is semi converter, not full converter. Even though if you have full converter, it gives motoring as well as braking, but your requirement is only the motoring, definitely go with the semi converter instead of full converter, because semi converter gives more power to the load from the supply, whereas in full converter some part of power will be fed back to the source, right? Definitely the load power will be reduced, whereas in this case load power will be more, so that if your requirement is motoring requirement, go with only semi converter than full converter. Now coming to the again source current analysis, source current is not sinusoidal as like supply voltage. It gives quasi square wave, means the nature of source current is quasi square like this. This is not sinusoidal. This is a fundamental, this is the RMS. So why it gives a quasi square wave instead of sinusoidal? Because of odd harmonic components, right? So now this is a fundamental, this is a harmonic. Now what is a fundamental source RMS current? IS1 RMS 2 root 2 by pi into I0 into cos alpha by 2. So what is the source RMS current? Actual source RMS current is IS RMS is I0 square root of pi minus alpha by pi, because this is a alpha, is a pi. Conduction period is only pi minus alpha, right? So divided by pi. This is RMS current, source current calculation. Now coming to the fundamental power factor. We know that fundamental power factor is the cosine angle between fundamental voltage and fundamental current, right? So now when you come to the fundamental current, this is a waveform, it's alpha by 2. The cosine angle between these two, fundamental voltage and fundamental current, is cos alpha by 2. That is a fundamental power factor. The distortion factor is what? We know the relation is IS1 RMS to ratio of fundamental source RMS to source RMS. That gives 2 root 2 by square root of pi into pi minus alpha cos alpha by 2. Now coming to the input power factor, another important thing is product of distortion factor and displacement power factor or fundamental power factor. Then we get this expression, right? Now coming to the THD. THD is square root of 1 by distortion factor square minus 1 as usual, but in full converter, distortion factor is fixed with the 0.9 because the nature is square wave, but here it is a quasi square wave. It is not at all fixed. It is a function of alpha, right? If you know the alpha, then only we can calculate distortion factor, then we calculate the THD. So THD is fixed in the full converter, 48.3%, right? Whereas in the semi converter, source current THD is not at all fixed. It varies based on the firing angle. So that is why THD is function of alpha. Right? Now coming to the average and RMS switch currents, I0 by 2, I0 by root 2. Here the conduction is again continuous conduction, right? So that conducting period of each switch is pi radians, so that we get I0 by 2, I0 by root 2, average and RMS quantities. Now coming to the powers, active power delivered to the converter is Vs Is1 cos alpha by 2. Just only as like when you go to the full converter, what is the power? Active power, Vs Is1 cos alpha. What is the cos alpha? Fundamental power factor. Here what is the fundamental power factor? Is cos alpha by 2. Then sin alpha by 2. So these are the expressions required to calculate power as well as rest of the things. Now coming to the important things in the examination. This is another important relation between the input power factor and the total harmonic distortion. So basically what is input power factor? Input power factor is product of distortion factor into displacement power factor. But distortion factor is equals to 1 by square root of 1 plus THD square. By substituting this value in this, we get input power factor is equals to displacement power factor by square root of 1 plus THD square. So what is the use of this relation? We know that if THD is more, supply power factor would be reduced. Then how? This is the relation. If THD is more, input power factor decreases. So in order to improve your supply power factor, THD should be minimum. So in such a way, we need to design your converter in order to get less THD to improve the supply power factor. If power factor is more, definitely the output of the converter also would be high. Fine. Now coming to the another important thing in the converters, when we get regenerative braking mode, is called braking mode and motoring mode. Examination point of view, this braking mode operation is very important. This is also called as electrical braking, right? So what are the conditions for regenerative braking mode? So we know that in case of this can be happened in the full converter, not in semi converter. We know that, right? Because full converter acts as both rectifier as well as inverter based on the firing angle. Semi converter gives always rectification mode at any firing angle alpha between 0 and 180. So now coming to the braking mode conditions, alpha should be greater than 90. E should be greater than V0, means battery voltage should be greater than the output voltage. E must be negative. This is the equivalent circuit of the load under this braking mode of operation. Basically what is RLE load? Is the motoring mode, right? If you connect any DC motor at the load side, motor for electrical braking of DC motor, this is the equivalent circuit. So E is a negative. Then what is a V0? In general, V0 is I0 into R plus C average value. Don't take the L into di by dt because at voltage across inductor is 0 at steady state. So now here E should be negative. So V0 is equals to minus E plus I0 into R. So these are the conditions and equivalent circuit and equations to apply the braking operation to the load circuit. Now coming to the motoring mode of operation. So this is a normal thing. When alpha, what are the conditions? When alpha less than 90 degrees, definitely the full converter gives a motoring mode of operation, that is first quadrant mode of operation, right? Because it acts as rectifier. and E should be negative, E should be less than V naught, means load voltage should be greater than battery back EMF E, and E must be positive. This is the equivalent circuit. Then V naught is I naught into R plus E. So if you know V naught and E, we calculate I naught, or if you know I naught and E and R, we get V naught value based on the given data, right? So if you know what is the use of this V naught in this case or in this case, you just find out what is the alpha. Sometimes you need to calculate alpha value. What is the, at what angle of alpha power can be fed back to the source, or power can be transferred to the load, right? So in order to calculate alpha, we know that in case of full converter, what is the output voltage? 2V. This value is what? 2Vm by pi cos alpha, right? So using this relation, calculate V naught and get the what is the alpha. Or if you know V naught and E, and then what is the I naught, just calculate what is, right? So before going to calculate all these things, you have to know the conditions. These are the conditions to find the parameters in both braking mode as well as motoring mode of operation.